Afternoon, everybody. Since we have a quorum, I want to begin the meeting so that we can get on with other things. I'm calling the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call?
Chairperson Dineo.
Here.
Vice Chair Aboud. Here. Commissioner Leyva. Here. Commissioner Bugley. Commissioner Jones. Here. Commissioner Scott. Commissioner Clemens. A quorum is present.
Thank you. It's quick. We may still get some coming in the door, but at least we're going to go ahead and start. So we do have a quorum. Public comments and discussion. I think everybody who's here already knows this. You have 3 minutes that you can discuss any topic within the authority of the Cultural Commission. Does anybody want to make any comments at this point? Because I know you're going to make presentations. If not, we're going to move ahead. So, possible action, approval of the minutes. Everybody got a copy of the minutes?
I would move to approve with one correction on page 6. The Concert Under the Stars was never held at Gold Dust West. It was held at Adele's, the BAC, and Eagle Valley Golf Course. So with that correction, I move to approve the minutes of as presented.
Is there a second? Any comments, Chris?
Nope.
Nope. Then would you please call for the vote? Oh, she has left. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries with the changes. Second item of business is so much paper. Okay, anyone have its adoption of the agenda as has been presented to us? Does anybody have any changes? Nope, we're going to forge ahead. For possible action, discussion and possible action regarding a recommendation to the Carson City Redevelopment Authority for the allocation of fiscal year 2022 redevelopment revolving fund arts and culture special event funding of up to $25,000. Nancy, I'm going to ask you to pick it up from here.
And I'm going to toss it over to Deborah, who's going to start us out.
And can we say the names in the beginning for the record?
Deborah here for the record. So we opened the application for this year's grant process on August the 1st, and the application period closed on August the 31st. Applications were received from 6 applicants, one of which was not eligible for review, and then since then, 7, and one was not eligible for review, and then one has been withdrawn, leaving 5 applications to be considered today. The grant requests from the 5 applicants total $30,000, and there are $25,000 available this year. The applicants and the scoring sheets were prepared and forwarded to all of the Cultural Commission members.
Okay. Shall we begin with presentations from folks requesting funds? And the first one that I have is Brewery Arts Center. for Snoopy. And again, your name for the record. Thank you.
Hi, this is Gina Lopez for the record, and I represent the Brewery Arts Center. And we took this opportunity for a new proposal, for a new idea for the redevelopment funds to use the space formerly known as the Artisan Store to create a revolving traveling exhibition area. And our first exhibition that we want to bring in, it'll be from February 15th through May 19th, is Snoopy and the Red Baron. And it'll be an exhibition on loan from the Charles M. Schulz Museum. And we will theme out. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know I could. Did you need me to repeat anything? Okay. So it will be a themed museum, basically, in that space. And we will have all prints that are reproduced and authentic to the comic strip, curated by Charles M. Schulz himself before he passed away. We are very excited about this. We don't think that anything of this magnitude has ever happened in Carson City for this length of time, at the Brewery Arts Center anyways. And it's really a trial to see what we can do in the future with this kind of a traveling show and bringing it to Carson City. After speaking with the Visitors Bureau, they felt that it was a good concept, especially for that time frame when there's not a lot going on inside. And we will keep it open 6 days a week.
I think it's an exciting thing to bring. The question I would have is insurance, because I know what it costs to bring the show in, but what kind of insurance do they require?
It's actually just a rider on our current insurance to $18,560.
Chris, Dan, any questions? Anything you want to add? Deborah, do you have any questions or comments? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and thank you for that. It sounds really exciting.
Everybody loves Snoopy, so we
Yes.
think that it will be favored with both the young and the old.
3 years in a row, my youngest daughter's cake was a Snoopy cake. So yes, it's a
Mine
favorite.
too.
It's a favorite. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and the second item is Capital City Arts Initiative. Sharon Ross.
Can you hear me? Should I take this off?
Take the mask off, please.
Thank you. Sharon Ross, Capital City Arts Initiative. CCAI is requesting funding for staffing to produce the exhibitions and Nevada Neighbors series that we do. We're now in our 19th year, and we would like to thank the city for partnering with us to bring art into this room, to the Brick, and to the courthouse. We really appreciate having the empty walls to fill. Thank you. CCI presents 14 shows a year, and we aim for over 700 gallery days annually. And we take very much pride in our partnerships with our high schools and with WNC. The next exhibition opens in the Courthouse Gallery on November 5th. So join us for the reception from 5 to 6:30. Work by WNC graphic design students continues in the Brick. They're pretty outstanding posters. And Paul Mudgett's show just opened the work in this room. Our series of Nevada Neighbors talks continues online, and the website and YouTube and our social media round out all of our public reach. So do you have any questions?
I personally know the works that you do because I try to attend all of the various shows that you have, and they're quite wonderful, and I think it adds a lot to the Carson community. Stan?
I just want to thank you for all the artwork that you do around town, particularly in this room. We spend a lot of time in this room, and we look forward to your changing art. It's really a great addition, and everybody comments how wonderful it is. So thank you,
That's-
Sharon.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris, any comments? Any questions? That
Okay.
was simple and easy and direct.
Thank you.
But thank you for the work you do, and I know you spend many days and many hours working on these projects. It's quite something. Okay, our third request is from, I have to get through all of this. A lot of paper, kids. The Symphony Concert Series, and no one is here to represent them.
Haven't heard from Eleanor, so
No?
do we just want to skip to the next one? And
Okay, and see if she okay, the Nutcracker Ballet. So we have Pinkerton. And did people just get the time wrong or something? Thinking it's 5:30? That's interesting. So the Prosimium Players.
Hello. My name is Michonne Chandler, and I am president of the Proscenium Players Incorporated Board. Proscenium Players is the longest consecutively running theater company in Northern Nevada. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we were unable to put any productions on last year, except for we did invest in some microphones so that we could partner up with KNVC in order to do a radio show, which was absolutely fantastic. This year, our upcoming season includes 3 different comedies. We're doing a staged radio show that is a takeoff comedy of Dracula. And then we are doing 4 weddings and a funeral, which is where most of the money would be going towards elevating our production value. Due to not having anything going on last year, funds get tight. And then our final performance of this season, which will be in May, is Barefoot in the Park.
That was a good one. Okay, questions? Oh, Ellie, you're here, good, we will back up. Okay. So how is this going to be publicized? I know there's a problem with marketing and that's an issue. And in order to fill those seats, how do you intend to do that?
We rely quite a bit on posters, word of mouth, and of course, a lot of social media. Gina has been so kind to us with Proscenium Players, and the Bury Art Center helps us with some of our advertising. Basically, yeah, it's trying to get the word out for everything that's going on and figuring out what's the best way to reach people. So far, it's been social media.
Okay, I'm looking at the reasons for the use of the funds in the request, and it's props. And, you know, Presidium Players has been around for a long, long time. It is sort of like every year there's okay, now we got to do props. And do you recycle the items that you have?
Absolutely. We have a storage facility that we actually share with Wild Horse, where we keep all of our costumes, all of our props, and all of our set pieces. Unfortunately, there tends to be odd props that get thrown up in certain productions that have to be replaced. For 4 weddings and a funeral, or 4 weddings and an Elvis, we're setting the production up in the performance hall, and we would really like to make it look like it's a Vegas wedding chapel.
Okay, so that's relatively new that you would be doing, but I'm keep thinking sets, you know, and all of that. And I know it costs a lot of money, and I know audiences are dwindling, you know, and I know, and there again, it comes to the help and expertise from the Brewery Arts Center and others to get the word out there. But the marketing seems to me to be a really big effort that needs to be put out at this point in time.
I agree 100% on that. And that is definitely something that we're going to have to really dig into this year.
Any questions, anyone?
Ahmed, I think you could hook up with the Visitors Bureau, and they could help you with marketing and advertising.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
She's sitting right next to you, so.
Any help we can get, we love. Once again, it's the longest running theater company in Northern Nevada, and we just want to get it back up and running and back to its old splendor again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I see that Ellie is now, for the record, has joined us. And I know that you have, well, no, you can't. You have to,
We, I believe that Ellie has a disclosure over there, and if you read that, that'd be
yeah,
good. Thank you.
you know, and I.
Yeah, I need to abstain from voting, but may I present for the symphony
Yes.
from here?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. But over, I think over by your table
Yes, I
is a
have.
disclosure. Okay, perfect.
I have.
Yeah, if you could read that, and then when you present, if you could go down in the front and present from the front,
down
that'd be
here.
great.
Okay. NRS 281A.420 requires me to disclose a conflict of interest and abstain from voting when I have a disqualifying conflict. I am president of the Board of Directors of the Carson City Symphony Association. The symphony has submitted a request for the grant funding being awarded in this agenda item. The symphony has a pecuniary interest in the grant funding, and I have a commitment in a private capacity to the symphony. The judgment of a reasonable person in this situation could be materially affected. Therefore, I have a disqualifying conflict and will not be voting on this matter.
Thank you. And then you've been asked to come down and make the presentation for the symphony next to Deborah.
Carson City Symphony's request is for funding for a series of concerts that will be held in the redevelopment district in the community center here, and one at the Legislative Park, the Capitol Amphitheater, between the Capitol and the Legislature building. Let's see, 5 of these will be with the symphony, with a guest soloist and guest groups. And 2 will be with our youth strings program and youth choir. We have been doing these. We began actually in 1984, presenting concerts in Carson City. And as all orchestras, including the professional ones, the ticket sales do not cover the cost of the concerts, and that's why we're requesting funding. We know that we draw people from the Bay Area and from East and Fallon and people, some of whom do stay overnight. And we are trying to advertise more widely to bring in more people from distant places. The next concert we have is a continuation of our Latin Expressions series because the population, the Hispanic population in Carson City has grown so much. And in our youth strings program, we teach a lot of the children from this part of our community to play violin and other instruments. And we want their parents and their neighbors to come to the orchestras and see that we include music from Latin America, classical music and popular music from Latin America. For our next concert, we have a mariachi group that will be performing in the lobby and on stage. And except for one piece, the entire program is music from Central and South America, or the composers are from those places. The one piece that is not is called A Time to Vote, and it was written last year to commemorate the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. And since we weren't able to perform it last year, we put it on the program this year, and we think voting is still an important topic.
Yeah, let's not go there. But you're right.
I don't think I have time to explain each program, but I'll answer questions.
I just have one question, and
Yes.
on your budget, the $1,000 for the community center, does that reflect a nonprofit discount? Are you getting one?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It could be like 800, sometimes it's more, sometimes less, depending on the number of hours and how much staff assistance we need. It's for 2 days because we have rehearsal day.
Okay, Stan, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I poor Ellie, I go back to this always. I know that the symphony has been here for a very long time and quite wonderful, and it's done wonderful works in town. In looking at the income, I'm seeing admissions, 0 income, at the door, 0 income, I mean, it's at some point in time, because of where we are financially in terms of the public, and having them help in at least a share. Has the board looked at a minimal entrance fee or some way in which you can generate income? Because it's at some point in time, you know, being independent from like this group and so on and so on is down the road. And it's sort of like, how are you
Barbara,
helping?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but, and I don't have my packet with me. The only time we had no income from admissions was last year because we were not allowed to have an audience.
Is that what this is that's in your packet? It's for this past year?
If you look at, yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes a huge
Our
difference.
tickets are $18 for adults, $15 for students and seniors and members of the Symphony Association, and free for anybody age 18 and under because we want to build audience.
That makes sense. Okay.
So
'cause-
usually we have a few $1,000s from admissions.
Okay, and the only other one, there's a state government support. You do get state funding?
We get money from the Nevada Council on the Arts.
Okay, and is that generally the same every year?
No, it's
No,
different every
It's
year.
different, okay. And now knowing that this was last year, that it's kind of unfair to have this because we're just going, well, gee, looking at this, you need to market. you know, and I know
Yeah,
that
we
you're trying.
we
and
do a lot of
You do a
marketing.
lot of marketing. I know that. I see it everywhere. And,
Good.
that's a real plus.
We still, after all these years, have people surprised to learn that there is a symphony in Carson City.
That would raise a few questions in my mind, but
But then
that-
I ask them, where do you get your information? Do you get the newspaper? No. Do you read Carson Now? No. Do you look at social media? No. So word of mouth is still the biggest way people learn.
yeah, that's true. Thank you for that. I don't have any further questions, and I don't think anyone else does here currently. Thank you for that, Ally. Appreciate it. And having done that, I think we have concluded all of the folks who are making presentations. Oh, excuse me. Ah, please come on up. That's, oh, please come join us. Okay, Nutcracker, Pinkerton. There's just so many of these. And since you are relatively new to us, I'm going to ask you, when you have a seat and make yourself comfortable, to please identify yourself for the record. And you'll have to push on the little square so it's green right in front of you, the microphone. Just push on the square at the bottom, and when it turns green, you're on. Press the button.
Okay, so you can hear me now?
Yeah, no, you'll need to move the microphone closer to you.
Okay,
There you go, and speak into the microphone. Thank you very much.
okay, sorry. There wasn't an address on the email I got, and I just totally went to the wrong place. I apologize. Anyway, I represent Pinkerton Ballet Theater, which is doing business as Nevada Dance Company, and will be changing that name eventually. The idea, I suppose, give a little history, that Pinkerton Ballet Theater has been putting on the Nutcracker Ballet for 33 years, and they use the local children, they use local volunteers, usually parents of children, but a lot of times it's people coming back that want to be part of it. It starts at the end of August, and it goes until Thanksgiving weekend, and that's the big crescendo. I have been a part of it since 1989, and it has been going on since 1988. I've been off and on part of it as my kids have been growing up, and I did somehow manage to inspire, or the Nutcracker actually inspired my one daughter to go on and become a professional ballerina. And she married a professional ballet dancer, and they now own the dance workshop in Minden. So the reason that is of interest is that they will be taking over the artistic directorship from Ayako after this year. Ayako will stay on the board as an advisor, and her expertise is just really very invaluable. The Nutcracker, of course, you know, probably having been here for 33 years, I'm sure, but it's a wonderful story, a magical story, and it really appeals to families, and it's a great kickoff for Christmas. And over the years, the board has, it used to have, Pinkerton Ballet Theater used to have a thriving board, and over the years, the board has kind of diminished. The plan is for the board to build back up. We have, I'm not on the board, I'm just filling in as an advisor. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. The last time we performed was in 2019, And there was a deficit at that point in time, but that was because the president at that point in time felt that it was really important to do things in a big way because the board wasn't sure where Pinkerton Ballet Theater and the Nutcracker was going. Everyone wanted it to continue, but no one really knew how and who and why. Well, we know why. But anyway, so we the event, honestly, I got rattled. I'm sorry.
Relax, we're all really cool here, and we
Okay.
understand where you are. First
Okay.
time sitting in a microphone talking to people is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never done this before.
You know,
I've written a lot of grants, but I've never done a presentation before, so thank you for being so patient with me. We have, let's see, I went to, 2019, there was a deficit. The reason is because we had a full orchestra, well, as full as we could afford, and it cost quite a bit. And even with that, we still have some money in the bank that we can roll over. And what the board had been doing in prior years is keeping that amount intact, in that just in case of a snowstorm, just in case everything fell apart at the last minute, there were funds to pay the bills. So this year, there is not as much, but a little bit of cushion in the bank. However, we were hoping that the redevelopment council could help with partial payment of the venue, which is here, Bob Bordrick Theater, and also with paying the professionals. Now, the professionals, there are more and more of them every year. And we try to keep the costs down. This year, we were able to get people, there are a lot of people that are out of work in the theater company and in ballet world. And so they happen to be here or in Sacramento or someplace where we can easily reach them, but it still is costly. And these people are they are so good for the kids to dance alongside, and they inspire the kids in many ways. They're really good with them. They teach free classes to them during the performances, and the kids are actually they pay a nominal fee, but it's mostly for costs, a little bit of repair on the costumes, which we actually try to renew and replenish am I going over my 3 minutes?
yeah.
Renew and replenish every year. We try to make it a little bit more exciting. There's a little bit more color or a little bit different something or other. Mother Chagan changes dresses every once in a while. But anyway, so there's a lot of costs involved in this production because of how it's quite huge. It's a huge endeavor. And anyway, so we would be very happy if you would consider helping us out this year. We do have plans for fundraisers. We also have plans to make Pinkerton Ballet Theater, actually Nevada Dance Company, bigger. We would like to expand it in this community to do a summer program, a summer production, and the program would be with the children, and the production would be with the children and professionals. And I think it could really be a lot of value. And as Ellie said, the amount of money that you bring in ticket sales never covers the costs. It just doesn't. So you have to do your fundraisers and you have to apply for grants. Unfortunately, some of that stuff hasn't been done in the recent past. It was. And so we'll build back up. Our plans are to build that back up, to do more fundraisers, to kind of tap the shoulder of the people that have been involved in the past and ask them if they'd like to contribute. The long-term goal is to get some sort of a endowment so that we can feed off of that and build that. Do you have any questions?
See, now we can ask you, you can take all the time in the world from here on out.
Okay.
Karen?
I'm just checking the same question I asked Ellie. Because you're a nonprofit, are you getting a discount for the facility?
That's my understanding. I didn't make the
Okay.
contract, but that's my understanding, yes.
And then in your fundraisers, and you alluded to it, I'm sure you fundraise in outlying communities besides Carson City, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do have a couple of questions. I was very impressed on page 85 to see your 4 points in terms of your future development in terms of funding and sponsorships and grant requests and so on and so on. And I think I heard you say that the board is kind of diminished. Do you have the folks who are going to be able to help in that effort? I mean, I see that is very positive to me because I think, as freestanding as we all can get, that's terrific.
Yeah.
But this, since I'm an ex-ballet teacher, I am telling you, I think it's a wonderful project and I would certainly like to see it go forward. But again, no one is assured that every single year funds are going to be handed out to the same folks over and over. That was not the intent of the redevelopment grant initially, and it's been reconfirmed. So to see your goals in terms of community-driven fundraising efforts and endowment, that's quite wonderful. Private foundations, you have a job ahead of you. But I sure think it's worth doing that because it's a wonderful production, and to do another one mid-year is also quite wonderful. And I thank you for stepping into the role and stepping up and helping it because it's a wonderful organization.
Well, the rest are busy teaching right now.
Yeah, I figured. Stan?
Well, thank you for serving so many years. Does Gail Ruff still?
Absolutely. Gail is still the
She's been-
grandmother, yes.
She's been in every production, I think, hasn't she?
Every single one.
Yeah.
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 We're planning on acknowledging that this year.
And I would suggest to you, if you can get a hold of folks who would like to do an article on your organization and the fact of its name change, because people are pretty much wedded, to Pinkerton. And I think you have an opportunity now, also in fundraising, to expand it in terms of the Nevada dance. It's quite a good idea.
Great.
Anybody want to add anything else? Chris? No, I thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to
You're
present.
welcome. You're welcome. Hi. Okay, since we've spent the last 4 years having a little different scoring system than the scoring system, a little bit of explanation as to what you'd like us to do?
The thought was to score each of the applicants, and then I was just going to take each one's total score per applicant and put them in my spreadsheet to come up with, in the order of, whoever has the most points. But the commission also has the ability to, that's kind of a starting point, and then the commission could go through and decide on how you would like to fund each of the applicants. You could fund all of them. There's only 25,000 available. You could reduce how much you're giving to each, whatever the commission would like to do with that.
Yes, you may, certainly.
Nancy, in the spirit of the fact that the pandemic has taken hold of our lives and our nonprofits' lives for the last 2 years, I'm familiar with the rubric, but it almost doesn't seem applicable in this case. And, my thought process is, because there's only 25,000 available, if all applicants could accept $1,000 less, everybody could be funded. Because the fact that you have survived this last 2 years and are still here to come back and do what you do best, to me, that feels the most fair. And that's just my thought.
I concur with that. How Chris is feeling that, Stan?
Sounds equitable to me.
Yeah. It does to me. So do you still want us to put all these numbers down here and all this? I think it's a great solution for what could be a tricky project. And we do have 5 wonderful applicants, all of whom, enlarge and enhance the cultural, artistic life in Carson City. And I think we need to recognize that and help them because it's been a terrible year. And we need to give everybody just sort of a shot to, let's all enjoy.
And that works for me.
Okay, do you want to make that in the form of a motion?
Is everybody agreeable to it?
Well, we're going to vote on it once.
I mean, is everybody in the crowd, the participants, are they agreeable to it?
I don't think that's the issue. That's not the issue.
Well, what is the issue?
The issue is we get to vote, Stan, and
I understand it.
And there
but
it
I'm
is.
just- Out of courtesy, I'm just saying, are they amiable to that?
I don't know how you want to respond to that. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's never come up before. What if they say, no, we don't like it? Then where are we? So here's the offer. All right.
I move that all the applicants, which would be the Brewery Arts Center, Carson City Arts Initiative, Carson City Symphony, Pinkerton, and Proscenium Players, all take $1,000 less of their ask so that everyone can be funded.
Is there
I'll
a
second that motion.
Thank you very much. I think on this one, we're just going to call the roll, please. I want it official.
Usually I don't do this, so I might fumble a little bit, but Chairperson Dineo,
I'll vote aye.
Vice Chair Aboud, Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Leyva, Commissioner Clemens, Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Bugley. That's right, she's abstaining, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is unanimous.
And approved. Yes. Nancy Paulson for the record?
I just wanted to let the applicants know that this will then move forward onto the next Board of Supervisors Redevelopment Authority meeting, which will be on November 4th. November 4th.
November 4th, yeah. Now I have to get back to where we started. Good Lord, on the agenda. I think that's a very fair, kind solution and helpful to everyone. And I hope you're all feeling in the same spirit as we are in our approval for this. So thank you all for the efforts that you do in Carson City. It's quite wonderful. So, Ms. City Manager Nancy Paulson, I have here on the agenda that it is your report.
And I didn't have anything to report today.
Okay, Commissioner reports. Okay.
I just wanted to report, first of all, that we had a very successful Grateful Harvest Dinner fundraiser for the Greenhouse Project, that we are in the spirit of sustainability, as all nonprofits have to be. We're going through the permitting process with environmental protection, and also with, we got a special use permit so that we can actually expand our agricultural offerings and what we do. And so that's moving forward. And in the spirit of our horticultural arts, we've kicked off our 2022 Flower Basket campaign, which is how the flower baskets that are sponsored appear in the downtown. And so on carsоncitygreenhouse.org, you can pull up a flower basket application and sponsor one. It pays for the watering, and it pays for the nurturing and the caring. And they're not free. It's about an $11,000 deal just for watering alone, to pay for the provider to take care of them. So they make our city beautiful.
Sure
and
do.
So that's it. That's all I have to say.
Ellie, would you like to make? Okay. Just give a little piece about what you're handing out.
This is a postcard that was sent to over 2,000 people. And you probably are on the list, but if you didn't get that, I will pass them out. And it's just our upcoming events for the symphony between now and the end of the calendar year. And the first one is tomorrow night at my house. So I have guest performers staying and having to be picked up from the airport and fed and so forth. So that's why I was late today.
Thank you. Stan or Chris, anything you want to add? Thank you very much.
I would just like to encourage as well. There's a really good podcast that was released not too long ago called Native Nevada, put together by Nevada Public Radio. You can just Google Native Nevada podcast and it'll be the first thing that comes up. Lots of history that comes up with the tribes. One of the biggest things that I find with working over at the BIA is that there's a lot of lack of knowledge when it comes to the history of a lot of the naming of places, the people, the different types of events that happened. And so I definitely highly encourage anyone to watch. It's very highly produced. They get a lot of local people that I've worked with personally, professionally to go on to it. And it's great. It's great. But yeah, I would just like to encourage that.
How do we access it?
It's online. So it's also on, I believe it's on just about every streaming
Really?
website as well. But if you just Google Native Nevada podcast, it'll be the first thing that comes up.
Podcast. Yeah, because I want to see my Rotary Club had a meeting down there, and 36 people toured the museum, and from all but 3 people had never been there. And so it was, why is this being hidden? And that museum is marvelous, marvelous, and I sure hope it gets more recognition in the future. Thank you very much for doing that. Appreciate that. Stan?
Couple of comments. I talked to Ronnie Hanneman today from the chamber, and she's working with the newspaper to put out all the Christmas activities that are going to be happening in Carson. So if anybody like Pinkerton and any of you that want to get some free advertising, her number, if you got a pencil and paper, is 882-1565. 882-15. Her name is Ronnie Hanneman, and she's looking for input from everybody. So that would be a good way for everybody to get their agenda out. The other thing, I know Barb and Nancy have been going crazy trying to get, I think we need to establish a date for our meetings.
Yeah.
And if people can't make it, I understand the reasons in the past, but we just need to come up with a day that's compatible with most of us.
So we can calendar it through the year.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
And we'll work on that. And I have to say kudos to the city staff and Nancy in particular and Stephanie, that they've worked so hard to accommodate folks as these changes and, throwing things into the hopper, and all of a sudden we have to have emergency meetings. I get that, but
And
like
the
you,
availability of this room.
is tough, and maybe we need another room. So that's something we can also work on. But it would be nice, so people can calendar it throughout the quarters as to when we are meeting, and that would be nice. But thank you for all the work you've done, Ms. Paulson and your staff, because I know what a headache it is, and including for the legal departments and Todd and your whole staff to all of a sudden have to be available for these kinds of meetings that get moved around so often. Can I, at this point, ask a couple of questions related to the last minutes? And I'm not changing anything. I'm asking for updates at our next meeting on the ARP requests, the funds, the yes or no, the what is going on, just an update. I don't need it tonight. It's just, I know it's being worked on, but it's in the minutes. And I think we ought to just remind ourselves that these minutes mean a lot, and we need to continue to get information. Then the other one is on our favorite roundabout and where that's going. and what we're doing with that. And update on the, what is this, the mural and future murals and artists. And so there was a lot of juicy meat in the last set of minutes about ideas and thoughts on the future and projects and things that we can be involved in, should be involved in, want to be involved in, but let us get, a plan going. That's my perspective. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that or not.
The only thing I want to add is that November 1st, we have a meeting with regards to going through what we just reviewed that you so well laid out for us. And so I think that will further define where we're going next.
I agree with that. Any future agenda items that folks would like to have put out there? Nope. Deborah, Sol, are there any comments you would like to make?
None at this time.
Smart. So, upcoming meetings. We've already done the events. Nancy Paulson.
So we do have this room scheduled for the next meeting on December 13th. So I just wanted to get that out there, and hopefully, we'll be more consistent going forward. And
4:30, Nancy, what time?
at 5:30.
At 5:30. Okay. We're in the dark then,
Yeah.
And then just that Commissioner Scott was going to give an update on the ARPA funding, but then she wasn't able to make it tonight. So the work group has been meeting to try to come up with a plan, and some of the other items that Chair Dineo mentioned, we'll make sure we have updates for the next meeting in December.
Thank you very much. It says here on number 7, you can have a 3-minute limit if any public wants to make any comments or anything. Todd isn't looking at me weirdly. So, Ms. Lopez?
Thank you, Gina Lopez, for the record. I just wanted to let the commission know that the Brewery Arts Center has put out an arts assessment survey in the past month, and we had 350 responses, actually. So we had a very good response from that, and I've forwarded that to our city leaders and Deborah, and I wanted to know if you would be interested in the results as well. I'd be happy to share it with the commission.
Yes.
Okay, I will
And
send
to
it out to you
whom-
tonight.
To whom were these sent?
They were sent to all of
never
our
remember.
5,000 email blasts. It was on KOLO Channel 8 did a story on it. Both newspapers did a story on it. We had it all over. So we got a variety of responses, good, bad, suggestions. It was very informative, and I think it's entirely informative to the whole arts and culture district here.
Cool.
Okay, I'll forward it on then.
Thank you. Hearing and seeing no other hands up or any other issues, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. We are adjourned. Look at that, under an hour.